1. You sensed emotional undercurrents others moved past. From a very early age, you noticed things others didn't pause at. A change in tone, a shift in mood, an unspoken tension in the room. While others adapted quickly, your nervous system lingered. It tried to understand what was happening beneath the surface. This didn't make you slow or insecure, it made you attuned. Feeling different often begins here. Your system was tracking emotional safety, not just social rules. You felt when something wasn't aligned, even if no one else named it. Over time, this awareness created distance. You felt out of sync in rooms where others seemed comfortable. This difference wasn't intellectual. It was embodied. Your nervous system processed more information, more deeply, and when there was no space to acknowledge that depth, it became loneliness. But what felt like isolation was often perception without validation. You weren't disconnected. You were aware. 2. Sensitivity became something you learned to hide. At some point, you realized your way of experiencing the world wasn't welcome everywhere. You may have been told you were too sensitive, too intense, or overthinking. So you learned to soften, to quiet reactions, to manage your depth. This adaptation helped you survive socially, but it came at a cost. You began to associate sensitivity with inconvenience. Over time, you may have doubted your own perception or minimized your emotional responses. This is where difference turns inward. The nervous system learned that safety depended on suppression, that being fully yourself might lead to rejection or misunderstanding. So you learned to edit yourself carefully, constantly. Mental health often suffers here, not because sensitivity is harmful, but because it is unsupported. The part of you that felt different didn't disappear. It went underground. And anything that must hide for too long becomes heavy. 3. You adapted to environments that weren't designed for you. Feeling different often isn't about identity, it's about environment. You may have grown in spaces that valued speed over depth, certainty over curiosity, or conformity over truth. To belong, you adapted. You learned to keep up when your system needed pause. To speak lightly when you felt deeply. To agree when something inside you resisted. This constant adjustment trained your nervous system to stay alert. You were always monitoring. Am I too much? Am I falling behind? Am I safe to be myself here? Over time, that vigilance became exhausting. Feeling different wasn't because you lacked something. It was because the environment asked you to become someone else. Your system wasn't broken, it was mismatched. 4. Feeling different protected your inner integrity. What you may not realize is that feeling different often preserved something essential. It kept you from fully dissolving into spaces that required self-erasure. The discomfort you felt wasn't failure. It was resistance. That resistance held boundaries, intuition, and inner truth, even when it made you feel separate. It prevented you from numbing yourself just to belong. This is why many people who felt different early in life later discover strong values, depth, and clarity. The nervous system protected integrity when conformity felt unsafe. Difference was not a mistake. It was a form of self-trust before you had language for it. 5. Healing begins when difference is understood, not corrected. The turning point comes when you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What does my system need?" When difference is understood as perception rather than defect, self-trust begins to return. You stop forcing yourself into places that exhaust you. You choose environments that support your pace, depth, and sensitivity. Mental health improves not through fixing yourself, but through alignment. You don't need to erase what made you feel different. You need to honor it. Because what set you apart was never a problem to solve. It was information guiding you toward where you can finally exhale. 6. Feeling different becomes meaningful when it's no longer judged. When you stop judging your sense of difference, something quiet shifts inside. The nervous system softens because it is no longer being asked to explain itself. What once felt like separation begins to feel like information, a signal guiding you toward environments that respect your pace, depth, and sensitivity. This understanding brings relief. You no longer chase belonging in places that exhaust you. You stop forcing yourself to be smaller, faster, or less aware. Difference turns into clarity, and clarity into choice. Over time, this creates emotional stability. Boundaries feel natural instead of defensive. Presence feels easier. The body recognizes safety not through effort, but through alignment. You begin to trust your internal signals again, not because they are perfect, but because they are honest. This is not withdrawal. It is discernment. This content is for educational and reflective purposes only. It is based on real-life experiences and personal growth journeys, shared to invite awareness, not conclusions. We encourage kind, respectful discussion and constructive comments. In the next reflection, the quiet feeling of not belonging anywhere, we will explore how prolonged misalignment shapes identity, why some people carry a persistent sense of being between worlds, and how understanding that feeling can lead to deeper self-acceptance and calm.